So I want to take a few minutes to talk about courage. So I've noticed sometimes that I hear this approach that often we're searching for this path that doesn't have to include courage. And I think I know why. I think we're confusing a pivotal part of courage, specifically fear. So I define courage as action in the midst of healthy fear plus joy. So I think what people are after is they're trying to remove unhealthy fear. And there's a good reason for that. But by doing that, sometimes I've noticed that since people aren't clarifying that it's unhealthy fear they're trying to remove, they're thinking they need to remove fear in general. So there is an element where healthy fear has a tinge of pain. It's uncomfortable. You know, when you're stepping into courage, you're stepping into the unknown. And yes, that pushes against your boundaries. That pushes against the known part of you. So sometimes it doesn't feel like an adventure because we don't know what's on the other side of that wall. But almost always after we do it, we go, wow, why was that so hard? Why did I put up such a fight? This new land is adventurous. It's been more adventurous than I could have dreamed of. So 2 Timothy 1:7 is that classic scripture that says, God has not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and I think a good translation of the last word is of a sound mind. So the word there for fear is the Greek word deilia. And deilia, I believe it's only used one time in the New Testament, and it has this really strong sense of it's a very heightened form of fear. If you look it up in the Greek dictionary, it says like cringing cowardice. So it's literally that idea of you're curled up into a ball and you're stuck, you're not moving, you're incapacitated. And I sort of see a picture of the child that's really scared, curled up into a ball. That's really what that's about. It's shutdown. It's God has not given you a spirit of shutdown, but of power or the ability to do something, of love, which love moves you forward because you're not condemning yourself, you're not condemning others. Love frees you to have compassion on yourself when things are hard, and of a sound mind that, yeah, you can have clarity, you can step forward. So God's not calling us to that, but he is calling us to healthy fear. And healthy fear is this idea, there's this other Greek word, phobos, and it gets at this somewhat in the New Testament, but when you think of in the Old Testament, when it talks about fearing God, it has more of that sense of reverence, which is what happens when you step into courage, because you are aware of your limits. You are aware that this step of courage could create fallout for somebody. It could be for you. So you're aware of what, this step can do. So, I was watching this Netflix show the other day. It's called I think it's called the Medal of Honor. And there was a gentleman who was a Medal of Honor recipient from the Army. And he was talking in the story. He was a narrator for someone else's story during World War II. And he defined fear as this. He said, fear is one of our best allies. Fear keeps us sane. It keeps us accurate. It reminds you that you have to do your job. And this guy's name was Florent Groberg. He was in the Army. He was a Medal of Honor recipient. So basically, what I'm saying is we need fear. Fear keeps you humble. It keeps you aware of the idea that you need God, by the way. So fear helps you realize you need faith. You have to trust in someone and something else. So what God has provided and the resources, that something, and the people around you, you're not alone. And sometimes it's a temptation to try to think, well, we don't need fear. Let's try to become that person that's so utterly confident in everything, that it has this nuance that you don't have fear. And I don't think that's realistic. I think that's defeating, and I think in the end, it's always, it's going to let us down. So I think it's important that we embrace healthy fear is part of the game. It's part of stepping out. It's part of growing. If we didn't have it, that would mean you're not pushing your edges. We call it, in the coaching world, we can call it your growing edges. So this is a good thing. So when I'm coaching people, it's usually a surprise to people, and they realize I'm not there to help them eliminate courage. I'm helping them step into courage, which also comes with that second side of the definition: action plus healthy fear, or courage equals action plus healthy fear plus joy. So I'm going to cover joy in the next movie.